Okay, is there anything we want to start on? Oh, yeah, we can start with flag etiquette. Okay.
Place to start.
I brought my little flag for the sake of this demonstration. Flag etiquette in America applies to all national and state flags.
It doesn't matter if the country still exists or not. I've seen people with Prussian flags who will just set it on the ground and just completely ignore any etiquette and say, whenever you call them out on it or you say, hey, could you please treat that flag kindly, they go, no, I don't have to because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's still a flag.
It's still a national flag. There are still people who want the country of Prussia to come back. It is still a national symbol to those people. And whoever is upstairs is going crazy.
That's the weapons.
Oh, I thought it was the elephants.
The elephants have been given weapons?
I like that.
Oh God.
Okay, anyway, back to flag etiquette. In America, now I, just a small bit of background, if you weren't at the Anime Matsuri panel, I am a member of the Boy Scouts of America. We are taught flag etiquette and flag respect from the very moment that a boy starts in Cub Scouts. Girls in America can't join until they're 14, but I've been a part of that. I have been a part of flag retirements, one of which was very emotional, and there was not a dry eye in the audience. And I actually had to end up reading for that. That was interesting. But okay, pretend that this is any flag. This is clearly a Latvian flag. It's the bacon flag. Do not mistake it with Austria, please. Austria's a brighter red and a whiter white. Okay. Pretend that the table's the ground. That's bad.
So is sitting on it.
So is sitting on it, so is dragging it through the mud, so is putting it as a cape on your shoulders. Any signs that show disrespect. A good way to show respect to a flag, especially at a convention, is get it on a proper pole that will keep it off the ground. Of course, be careful with that pole. Know the convention area that you're in, so that you're not swinging around and hitting people, because that can hurt and that can get you in trouble.
I've been hit by a flagpole.
I've almost been hit by a flagpole. Yeah.
I've hit people with flagpoles.
Yeah, it's happened. And it's not fun. And it's one thing that makes a lot of people who don't understand the beauty of Hetalia hate Hetalians. It's because a lot of us don't really understand. I mean, I'm talking in my experience. Please do not get mad at me. That a lot of people actually don't know some of these actually important facts. And you wouldn't take an American flag and slow it through the mud or draw on it or sit on it or anything. Don't do it with an international flag. It's just as disrespectful. Anything? You're good at this. Yeah, they did schedule us quite late, but that's okay. We still have a nice audience. It's a full room to my considerations. We have people sitting on the floor. Hi, Del.
Hi.
Okay, well, how about this? How about general respect also at conventions?
Yes.
The personal space. Don't go up to a person you don't know, period. I mean, this is general convention etiquette, and sadly it somehow applies more to Italians. I guess because of the... And yeah, we're not gonna get into that. No. I ain't!
No hate.
No, it... But it nice. But they associate a lot of Italians with a bad connotation. They think that we're all crazy and insane, and I'm like, and here I am sitting. Oh, hi guys. So I like history, and I don't mind that Latvia is a little whiny child who cries a lot and drinks all day and wants to get away from Russia. I don't mind that. I don't mind that America is a fat pig. Because it's a stereotype. It's all a stereotype. I mean, even Japan is stereotyped, and people are like, they don't stereotype Japan. Actually, that's a big stereotype. I can't even.
2D relationships.
I can tell you now that there are some, I'm pretty sure y'all know this, but there's some pretty crazy, like, outlandish stereotypes that they even like to bring in. Like Italy.
No.
Italy's stereotypes are absolutely insane. Like,
Have you ever met a group of Italians?
No.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Wait, did you meet them on vacation? No, I met them when I was giving them a tour of Johnson Space Center.
Oh.
They were on vacation. They were on vacation, yes.
Italians are loud fast.
Yeah, another thing with meetups is don't do anything in public that you wouldn't do outside of costume. Period. Don't be a France and start rubbing off on your Canada or England or anything like that in public. That's okay for like a private meet or shoot or something like that, but not really in the public eye. Everybody's like, oh, France is that rapist. And all of these there's actually tons of stories of Frances coming up to random people and grinding against them. Because that's the character.
or people walking up to France and completely like harassing them and groping them because they're supposed to be this
The country of love.
obscene, you know, as seen as
Pedophile.
the rapist. And for example, I have a friend who's a France cosplayer who is actually relatively calm on that subject. Like, she'll mess around and stuff with people she knows well, but she'll have random people she doesn't even know, like say an England cosplayer, walk up to her and grope her butt because they want her to, I guess, react the way I guess France's character should. But it's just obscenely disrespectful to grope someone you don't even know, and you don't even know if they have a boundary against, you know, being touched or anything like that. Because I know I personally don't like being touched by people I don't know. I know.
Okay. Let's see, anything else that we really need to cover? Oh, you got something? Oh.
I don't like microphones. I'm not used to them. On that subject, a bit there, when you do come across other cosplayers, as there are a ton of you in here, so obviously this happens. Don't assume that the other person in their costume is in the character. I just started cosplaying Canada. I do know other Canadas who people tend to ignore a Canada because that's haha, the joke was Canada. So they just ignore them, and some people really get hurt by this, that they're completely ignored.
Yeah, no, I know somebody who stopped cosplaying Canada because of that very reason.
My specialty, my usual costume is Finland, and I do hang around with Sweden all of the time, like every convention I go to, I have at least one. But please don't expect me to start making out with them. That's just really creepy. And I've had people ask and be like, no, I just met this person 20 minutes ago. I will pass on the making out. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, even with me as Latvia, if half the time for some reason Russians don't recognize me, which was, yeah, I guess I was safe, but it was really awkward. No, I'm being Belgium today, by the way. No. But it's very, know your cast, and don't ignore the person behind the costume. Because for all people, yeah, the person is not the character. No.
Unless you're in an Ask-A-Nation panel.
Yeah, unless you're in an Ask-A-Nation panel, and that's entirely different. We actually had an Ask-A-Nation panel once with a Canada, and it was just the stuffed bear on the chair, and Russia sat on the bear. And luckily I was Latvian, so I was at the other end of the table, and I was like, oh, Russia's not here. I can drink my vodka. Water in an empty decanted bottle. Don't worry. I'm not getting drunk during a con.
Wink, wink.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever like had some? I know a couple years ago I was cosplay Russia all the time. Cause I'm like 6 foot, so everyone's like, oh, you should be Russia. You're the perfect height.
Yeah, you look really familiar. About that, with heights and cosplay and size, and we're all people. We all come in different sizes, shapes, colors. People cosplay what you love. I am 5'4", and I cosplay the 4'9" child, and I do not care.
One of my good friends who cosplays Denmark is 4'10", I think. Yeah, she's absolutely adorable, and she has never gotten cred about her height. The fact that she cosplays one of the largest, tallest nations.
Yeah.
I want to say that. Were you at Oni-Con 2 a few years ago?
Oh yes.
Do you remember there was a girl who was supposed to cosplay Italy at the photo shoot, and she had her little hair ripped out like that.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like before the photo shoot though, I think.
Oh my gosh. That's
Terrible.
That's
Yeah,
actually.
and like the way the Russians were treating the Russians.
Oh no.
yeah.
I remember that photo shoot. I remember it well because.
And I was dragged the entire time by my scarf by someone I didn't even know.
That happened to me too, actually.
And that's why I dropped off from Russia. Because they thought since I was this tall person who wore boots and stuff, like, oh, she could take us dog pounding her and try to tackle her around.
No, yeah, that's
But
one.
I quickly was confident on this.
That is one very, very big thing. Okay, I'll get to you in just a second. But no, that's one very, very big thing with cosplayers is personal space. Get to know the person before you do anything like that. Get to know them. I know her way too well. So if she does it back to me, I won't care. There we go. Because I kind of go stop. Not in front of the audience. Yeah, no, get to know the person. And for photo shoots, for still photos, doing crazy things can be somewhat okay, but make sure that the person next to you, beside you, behind you, knows what you are doing and is okay with what you are doing. It's like, oh look, I'm Latvia, I'm going to cower from Russia, and Russia is going to press down on my head. And I'm like, that's okay, that's fine. I actually don't mind that, because it actually feels good. It's weird pressure. You had a question.
Well, you talked a lot about people or other Hetalia cosplayers who don't understand the boundaries of personal space,
Yeah.
assuming that they can just walk up to anyone in costume and rope, tackle,
Destroy.
molest, and various other things. So how do you prevent that sort of wearing a sign and carrying around a bat that says not in character, just in costume?
I don't know. Although the bat sounds nice. Covered in blood.
I think the simplest way to do that is when people do approach you, or if they start to do something you're uncomfortable with, is let them know right away. Like, don't be shy about it. Like, if somebody is invading your personal space, let them know, like, that's not cool. Knock it off. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at you. I was just reaching. That's really the simplest way, is just to tell people, like, right away that you're not okay with that, or, you know, I'm just stop it. Yeah, like, that's the easiest way to do it, in my experience anyways.
Yeah. That's actually just what the easiest way. Because hopefully, if they're not crazy and rabid at the moment, they will understand. And they will back off.
And if they are in good contact.
Yeah. Get con staff if anything really bad happens. Okay. Do we have... Oh, there is one thing that I do want to cover. I'm sure everybody has seen a lot of the controversial art with a lot of the things that have happened this last year or two. Me personally, at least, and I know many others, find that very offensive to do that with Hetalia characters, because a best example is there is a picture from this last year's 9/11. There are two pictures that I'm going to describe. The first picture is Alfred with his thumbs out, on fire, crying. I personally find that the most disrespectful thing ever. Lives were lost that day. Hundreds of lives were lost that day. Hundreds of families were torn apart that day. However, there is another piece of art where it's just Alfred walking the streets of New York, doing his thing. And there is the plane up in the sky before it hits anything. I find that to be a lot more respectful because it truly shows what every American was kind of doing right before the planes hit those towers. Right before that. Everybody never expected it. They were going along with their daily routine, and then that just happened and blew everybody away. There is a difference between expressive art and this is stupid. And the former picture that I was describing, in my opinion, was this is stupid.
I have another example.
Oh.
Outside of American history, another one I've seen was I don't know how many people actually heard about it with the Polish government plane crashing in Russia.
Yeah.
I've seen both very tasteful art that was actually very pretty and very sad, and just absolutely, what on earth were you thinking when you drew that? That's disrespectful art. Like, I've seen pictures of Poland just like
Dead.
yeah, I've seen those.
Practical, I mean, emotionally dead.
Yeah, because of the loss of his government and stuff, because it was sad. And him feeling the emotion towards that. And I've also seen ones where it's Russia holding a plane, like throwing it into a thing with Poland on it. It's just
That's absolutely horrible.
yeah.
A natural or accidental disaster is not something to make pretty or make light of. It is a heartbreaking event. And I'm sure that I know that there's art of Japan's earthquake and tsunami. I'm semi-sure that there's probably stuff for Haiti. There is probably stuff for everywhere around the world that something like this happens. Oh yeah, Turkey. I mean,
All the Norway family.
I haven't seen much of that because I've been so busy recently, but I'm sure that it's there, and I'm sure that the people of that nation would not appreciate like art, like Alfred with his thumbs up on fire and crying. It's distasteful. It's like wearing it's like wearing a really American kicking Japan. No, it's like a very like imagine people of Walmart. No. Okay, we have 30 minutes left in our panel.
There's one thing that, unless it is an incredibly private and tastefully done thing, that just never Kyle. That is the Anime Boston incident. For those of you who don't know, Anime Boston, a couple years ago.
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years? I guess it was 2 years.
Because it was Anime Month Series, the last week I had been at the Philippines.
Okay, so it was the same. But there was a group of cosplayers. I believe it was mostly the Germanic family at that point. I believe it was mostly Germany's and a few scattered Prussians.
There was also an Austrian.
And an Austrian there.
I've read stuff from them, and a lot of them didn't, like a good handful of them didn't even realize what was going on.
Yeah, it started with a couple, and there are several groups of the entire, almost the entire group of cosplayers hiding. And this was over what holiday was it?
No, it was Easter weekend.
It was Easter weekend it was Passover was the big one.
It was also really close to.
It was close to
To the Holocaust Museum.
to a Holocaust museum. so incredibly distasteful in every way, shape, and form. You just never ever do that motion. It doesn't matter like what costume you're in or how tasteful you may think it is, because it's just not. It is not tasteful ever.
It's like if you try and wear horror clothes, no matter what, it's not tasteful. And on that topic, I was about to say, on that topic, I will admit, historical costumes. That's one more thing I should touch before we turn over to questions. Historical uniforms are absolutely beautiful. I'll admit that. I find them absolutely gorgeous. However, some of them should only be worn either for a private photo shoot or unless you're being obscenely careful while wearing it. For example, at Anime Matsuri this year, I'll admit this, I haven't done this. One of my friends made me a costume as a gift. It was a Waffen SS uniform, and it was also a highly requested one on my DeviantArt that I should perform. I will admit I should not have worn it at the con. However, I did not receive a negative comment about it. I never received a negative comment on my DeviantArt because I did it tastefully, respectfully. I did not say Kaya. I did not make any jokes, and I completely honestly, I actually wore it for maybe 20 minutes, freaked out, and went back to my hotel room.
Smiled in the entire
No, I was actually terrified because I was afraid of people coming up and bashing me and stuff. Because I personally find military uniforms absolutely gorgeous. But if you're going to do something that could be borderline controversial, please be very, very careful. Like, don't do it unless you can handle it.
Okay, so now that we have time left in our panel, it is time to open the floor for questions. Who wants to start? Hetalia? Okay. Why is everybody leaving?
We're coming to the front because we love you.
Okay, dinner's good.
Is it okay for us?
I just wanted to say, just always be aware that just kind of whatever you're doing, when you're cosplaying Hetalia, like you're representing a country as far, like even though it's just on an anime, you're representing a country, and so you really have to be careful because, like, I mean, there's not really such thing as being too cautious. I mean, like there's maybe such a thing as being too stern, and like if you're snapping at people, but just like always err on the side of caution because you don't know the people around you. Like unless you're with a bunch of friends that you know really well in private, you don't know everyone, and so you don't know how something you might say would affect people, or if if you make a joke, but for some reason that might trigger something for someone, just everyone in the fandom might get the joke, but to someone who's just passing by on the street or who has never, who doesn't have much knowledge of what Hetalia is and only sees the fans, it makes everyone look awful. I have a friend of mine, and I love her to death, but she really hasn't done her research before she cosplayed in Germany.
Oh.
Yeah, and she got mad at me because I snapped at her beyond all belief because she just wasn't being careful at all, and she got mad at me. But I'm like, look, you really have to understand that, like, you might be like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this, I don't mean anything harmful by it, but someone who might just kind of might not even say anything to you, but it looks bad on the entire fandom when one person screws up.
And I'm going to comment a bit on that myself. I usually cosplay Finland. My family is actually from Finland originally on my father's side. I've done an intense amount of research into Finnish history. I only Finnish national.
The Finnish food is amazing.
I cook Finnish food. I have the national book. I've done like an obscene amount of research. I know pretty much everything like the back of my hand. And I mean, to a lot of people, a cosplay is just a costume. But to me, when I wear that outfit, and when people tell me that I'm a good Finland, whether it's in something I write, my food, my costume, whatever it is, I take great pride in that. So to some of you, it may be just a costume, but to some of us, it is a lot more.
That would be the same thing for myself and the character of Prussia and characters of Prussia and Germany. Pretty much what she just said, I have done the same thing, and I am also mostly German. Had to
Clarification, I'm neither from Belgium or Latvian or Russian, because I did cosplay Russian once.
She did.
And
That's how we met.
I scared everybody.
My little Hetalia is back there. Hi. Hi. Okay. Okay, next. Anybody else have questions?
Don't be shy.
If you want to add something to this semi-discussion, then that would be yes,
I guess I
Anna.
have one. So I'm interested in cosplaying quite a few characters, but I am respectful with all the characters, and I do want to do, like, I plan to do a lot of research with characters. Like, I'm going to be Greece tomorrow.
Yes.
But I still feel inadequate when it comes to research on Greece, and so I do tend to feel intimidated by, you know, and that's.
No, that's okay. If you're cosplaying, anything, go with the canon.
Yeah, when in doubt, go with
Yeah, when in doubt, go with the canon. Greece is a sex monkey. It sleeps and loves cats. And that's basically the character of Greece. I mean, half the time that I act as Latvia, I am drunk because he can drink 40 cups of vodka, and from what I've heard, Latvian vodka is actually better than Russian vodka.
Nice.
It's from multiple uses. Yes, it does. It's also better than beer.
No.
Okay, but no, I mean, I've done some research for Latvia. I've actually done like no research for Belgium at all. She's just kind of fun to do because I get to be a girl. Yeah, because I don't have to look like a 15-year-old boy. I can look like a grown woman and have fun and be somewhat recognized, because some people have actually recognized who I am tonight, other than people that I know, which has actually been really surprising because I never expected that. Especially because I'm not in a canon outfit. She's the only canon outfit right here.
No, I'm canon, except it's player 2, and so most people have
that's
never
true.
heard of
It's
it.
okay, my colors are wrong.
They don't know
They're not
it.
official anymore.
Oh, don't worry, I'm just in a red dress. Red dress and a wig. Oh yeah, that's how it rolls. Sorry, I worked today. No, as I said, go with the canon. And then if you do your research, then do your research. I mean, do whatever research you really want to do.
It's not required.
It is not required at all. I've looked into Latvian food, and a lot of it is actually very, very similar to Lithuania's food, because they actually share a lot in common. The language is so similar, just as Finnish and Estonian are...
And Hungarian.
And Hungarian are practically one and one. Just a couple of pronunciations between Latvian and Lithuanian, and they practically mean the same thing. So, it goes with that. Okay, yes?
Okay, hi. This is actually not too related to etiquette, but you said something that reminded me of it, and I've asked this before, but I never really understood completely. Like, could someone tell me, what is player 2 like?
Oh, okay.
Something
Do you
like
want to pass?
Yeah, you can have it.
The player 2 costumes are what Humor released on his blog They're alternate. He hasn't done it for all of the characters. As far as I know, he's only done it for Hetalia and
The
then
female
the
versions.
female and reverse male
Yeah.
versions. The gender bend. There we go. That's the right
Gender
word.
bend.
Rule 63.
He's done it for a lot of the gender bend, the most popular ones, and very few. I think he's done it for maybe Germany, Italy, and Japan.
Yeah.
For the male character, for the canon legit characters. And it is essentially him appealing more to the darker sides of the characters.
It's really kind of somewhat dark and gruesome, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot darker. And actually that's what this is, minus the fact that my buttons are not red. And they're not tassel buttons. However, I work with what I can. I'm a student.
Close are close. Okay, anybody else have a question? Did that help you understand player 2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, question. Did I have one? Or we have one? Or something? No comments? No, nothing?
No stories.
Really?
Oh, I got stories.
We both do.
I got stories.
I recognize you.
Jared? Oh my god!
No, if nobody really has questions, if you have a question, raise your hand while we're talking and we'll get to you. So, we can all share at least like one story. Which one? You have a comment?
With weapons etiquette, please make sure that they are fake. I cosplay as Belarus, and I finally have a plastic knife, but I've heard of many stories where Belaruses have used real knives, and Hungary's using like
Real flying pans.
frying pans and hitting people on the head.
I got hit with one and actually didn't hurt a bit. It was it was a really thin frying pan.
I hit him by a prop frying
Well,
pan,
actually, I hit
which
myself
made the
with
noise. It was made out of metal. It made the noise, but it didn't hurt. And then, like, it was really cool. I wish I knew where she got it from. Like, it's so cool. And then I've been hit by one that's real, and it hurts so bad. I actually was terrified of Hungary's for a period of time while cosplaying Prussia.
Yeah, fake weapons, please, no matter what they are.
Con rules.
No
This is fake.
live steel.
No.
No real guns.
No.
No.
Over 18, at least for a rifle or for a shotgun, and over 21 with your concealed carry license for a pistol.
And still no.
And still do not bring it because they will not like that.
You'll be arrested.
At a con.
Yeah, not at a con. Please don't. We don't want misfires happening.
Or pain.
Or pain, or blood. I mean, I am trained in first aid. I do not like dealing with it because, I mean, I can. I don't like to.
I don't think anyone likes to.
I had to once, and I actually still have the stain on my shirt. A staff hit her head, and she had this nice, like, inch-wide wound. Anyway, and any other comments, questions, such? We're not done yet. Thank
People
you.
to open the damn door.
It's not
I'm taking around for that.
We have like 15 minutes.
exactly. We still have time.
I think I've recorded the entire panel.
Or did we interrupt you? I'm sorry.
Pillars. Are you done? You're done? Okay. And any other comments, questions,
Concerns?
concerns? Yes. In the back?
I love you.
Oh, yeah.
Aww.
I love her more. Oh, that feels amazing.
I saw your hand go up.
Hold on, we can't hear you. Just a second.
What was that? Okay, now. Can you guys watch
Heta Oni?
I love Heta
What's that?
It's a rarity.
Oni is amazing.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, but I have watched. It's not about half.
I haven't. I don't have time.
Right there. What the?
Okay, so apparently Heta Oni is still going, but I don't know anything about that. Okay. Anything else before we go into story time?
Since she brought up Heta Oni, I'm gonna say something.
Oh no.
Head it down.
Shush. Shh. Okay. Well, I have seen some people cosplay Heta Oni.
not at anime conventions, but I've seen some, and I convinced my friend not to cosplay Heta Oni at a con because her cosplay is pretty graphic. There are some graphic Heta Oni cosplayers. I'm like, dude, no. I know Heta Oni is like awesome. I love it too. And I was told they're about to start translating some new episodes. But dude, seriously, I like it as much as you do. But please, if you're gonna do Heta Oni, not graphic, please. I've seen some graphic Heta Oni. Just no.
Yeah, because there are some people who who don't like seeing. Like me? Yeah. Personally, I don't mind it, but there are people, I understand.
As long as it's fake, I'm okay.
There's also children walking around sometimes too.
Children. That's another thing with the modesty and costumes. Don't look like a tramp because they're little kids, and that
Children.
would be. Let their parents expose it to them, or have them find it out themselves. But don't you be the one to do that. Just period. Okay, yes, Anna.
Can you give a brief explanation of Heta Oni? Because I've heard so much about it, but I'm not exactly sure.
Define brief.
See, among these things, I'm the one who delves a little bit deeper into the darker sides of things. That's why they keep passing the microphone to me for these things. For Heta Oni, it's set up like an old Game Boy game, and it's based off of a game that I have no idea what it's called. I read it and I don't remember.
Is it Teeny?
No.
Okay, anyway.
What?
It's based off a game called Oni.
Yes, thank you, Oni. And
which would then explain why it's called Heta Oni. Okay, there we go.
They're pretty much locked in a house that bad things are happening. There's time warp and
Let's do the time.
sort of, and it's really dark and it's really pretty. I know a lot of Italy's have a headcanon fear of clocks now, and yes, I am looking at one specifically because I love tormenting her with headcanon about it sometimes. No, I didn't. I forgot. No, but anyway. It's not in any way related to actual Hetalia. Outside of they use the characters, they do use the attitudes of the characters, and they train of thought. Where are you? It's gone.
It derailed.
Okay. I'm sorry. It happens sometimes.
Okay, well, I mean that I kind of learned more on that because I didn't know crap
So
about
is
it.
it like a comic? Is it a...
Oh no, it's a video series on YouTube.
Think Homestuck, but not.
Yeah.
That is the vaguest description I've ever heard.
Okay,
Yes.
So since the word popped up, headcanon.
Yes.
Don't ever
Don't force it on people.
Don't force it on people. Don't bash somebody's perception of a character.
It's kind of like your no-no square. Don't force it upon anybody because nobody wants it to be forced upon them.
Parents.
Yes. Like for an example, like I said, I usually do Finland, and this just started last night. But I usually do Finland, and my headcanon perception of him is incredibly different from what most fandom is. Like fandom usually see Finland as this moe disgusting blob thing.
Finland will jack you up.
Yeah, my Finland has owned several rifles from, and he's beautiful. And
one of which is a 20 mil, I believe.
And he holds his own. He's a bit of a drunk. He smokes cigars. He's
On occasion.
he's really much more of a badass than most fandom has him. So my headcanon is completely different, but I don't expect everybody to assume that that's what it should be like, because a lot of people don't see him that way.
Yeah.
But that's just me, because once again, all this time in research, and I don't really have a life when it comes to this sort of thing.
It reflects on your perception of the character.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say, along with don't force your headcanon on other people, don't force your favorite pairings on other people.
No.
Whether they're canon or whether they're crack. Because I have had people try and force Prussia Canada on me. I have had, which was really cute when I first got into the series, but then as I slowly got further into it, I didn't like it anymore. It just made no sense anymore to me. Or Prussia Hungry. I don't like it.
Sorry.
But I don't force my headcanons on people. I don't force German cest on people. And I don't force Russ Press on people.
No, you don't. Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness.
I don't have any Estonians.
Yeah, your Estonia is kind of.
But it's very rude whenever people. It's like something. I don't know if any of you were listening to Greg Ayers earlier during his panel. It's like what Greg Ayers says. Or said. Don't sit there and flash dojins or pictures of two guys making out or whatever in the parent to people who don't care for it. Just, once again, it's like the no-no square. Don't force it on people.
I have 9 minutes and she told me 5, and if she comes back in 5 minutes later, I'm gonna tell her by this because Airship Isabella went over their time and nobody came in except me to say, hi, you need to get out of here. Anyway, oh gosh, I'm glad I know these people. Moving on. Okay, now with all of that divulged, still no comments, questions, concerns, Anna?
I sort of want to say the only thing about when it comes to canon pairings, there aren't really canon pairings, they're fanon pairings, because more than platonically, the only pairings that are implied are Greece and Japan.
And Greece and everybody.
When I said canon, I should have included the word historically canon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a usual term for me.
Norway and Hong Kong make no sense. Iceland and Hong Kong make no sense. But I mean, it's Iceland and Hong Kong.
They are characters, and people put them together.
Yeah, it's what you want, but don't expect everybody to be of the same mind or expect them to follow along. I mean, if it makes sense, then it makes sense. I personally love Estonia, Latvia. It's just cute. It's a little bit of crack, a little bit not, but I just like it because it's cute.
Anyone else?
And that's how I am. Anybody?
To each his own. That's all I gotta say about
each
that.
his own. Truly, to each his own. And I see so many familiar faces in the crowd, and it scares me a little.
This is my first con, ever.
Congratulations!
So I'm How did you get the panel started? How did that come about? Did y'all just meet each other at a con and say, hey, this would be fun?
I met both of these people at Oni-Con.
You met me at Montessori.
I met you at Montessori last year.
2 years ago.
When I was cosplaying Russia and she was Prussia, and
I wasn't Prussia. I just had the.
You looked enough like Prussia that I mistook you.
We have our own Facebook group for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes. We do have a Houston Hetalia Facebook group. You can request to join if you so desire. And hi, we.
You have to end it 5 minutes before so the other panel.
You get done.
They didn't.
We didn't get to start until 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Airship Isabella ran over a lot.
And so
I had to come in and tell them, you guys need to wrap it up.
Is it okay if the others at least start testing out the projector in the meantime?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Sure, go ahead.
That'll be fine completely. Okay.
We're almost done.
Yeah, we are almost done. But no, yeah. Where was I?
You met Ayla.
The panel started. You met Yeah, I met you. I met her. Yeah,
actually,
at an entirely different thing we met, and then we regrouped. And there's so many people in here that I know because of conventions, because of just various things.
Almost everyone I know in this room, save for
a couple of people.
No, 2 for me. I met through conventions.
Yeah.
And I've had people become great friends because of a convention.
I've lived here 1 year now. I've lived here a full year. And
Yeah.
I know a ton of you in here. I've met some really great people, so. And
it's fun. They can we at least close one of the doors? It gets really, really loud and I have to use. Thank you. No, how I got the panel started. I did this for Anime Matsuri, and so I kind of knew that I'd be able to do it. It's basically contacting your panel's director somehow, some way, getting all of that through. Oni-Con was a bit of a pain. Honestly, most conventions are a bit of a pain for getting panels in and everything. But as long as you deal with it, and you're courteous and kind, and
stubborn,
and a little stubborn, don't be so horribly stubborn that they start to hate you. That would be bad, because you do not want the con staff to hate you ever.
No, they are your best friends.
Because they're the ones that can kick you out of the con. But no, it's just contact and make sure that things are, I don't know where things go, and just make sure that everything is in order. I was like, okay, Ayla, we did this panel at Anime Matsuri. Let's do it again at Oni-Con because
maybe we should start with how we got the panel started in the first place. Completely.
Yeah, we decided that Houston very much needed a 101 panel due to previous experience at conventions. And
I almost quit cosplaying Hetalia because of some of the conduct and stuff, because I was having so many bad experiences with people.
And we'll kind of leave it at that.
And things got a lot better after we started. No, it's an improvement.
It has been, in my opinion. Yes. No, it's just making sure you know who. Just a second. Making sure you know who you are with and stuff, and that we know from past experience. This is my 18th convention.
Wow.
Wait, or something I don't remember.
That's what I'm missing.
Be quiet. No, sorry, she's been to a lot more conventions than me, and I'm mildly jealous.
It's a business.
It is. But no, I've been to a lot of conventions. I've been around the con scene since I was 15. I was either 14 or 15. Just so you know, I'm 21 now. I've been doing this for a long time. And long time considered to me. Others I know have been doing this shorter. They're still just as beautiful people.
Question.
Yes.
That's one.
So basically, I've never seen Hetalia before, and I'm only here because this one grabbed me along to this panel. Because I've had more than one bad run-in with a Hetalia fan. I've had very bad run-ins with Hetalia fans.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Someone peeked in and they just had this bag on their head.
We're also sorry. We're also sorry for her experiences.
No, but I've had like you guys, it's not just people in the fandom. When you're like people that want to watch it, it's just like I see like how rabid you are about this, and how like if I don't like a certain pairing, that I'm a horrible person.
Oh no!
And, your experience so much hate that I just was like, no, I'm just not even gonna watch the show.
I would stick with the webcomic if you started experiencing that, because that's where it all started. And honestly, if you ask me, I prefer the webcomic.
Yeah,
just avoid the fandom. It's simpler than you think.
Yeah, just avoid the fandom. It's a lot easier than you really think. I'm kind of a yes.
Yes. If you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing,
stay off of Live Journal.
Yeah, Live
stay
Journal.
off Tumblr.
Unfollow. See, actually, now that you mentioned Tumblr, Hetalia headcanons, I can't remember their exact username.
There's also a Hetalia etiquette.
Not Tumblr or something like that.
Oh, cool.
If I knew it, I would tell you guys.
Post it on.
If you want.
Just give it a shot. Just see if you like it.
Just know that with the show, it is, like with the comics, there's a little bit more
background.
There's a little bit more sanity, and it's also, in my opinion, very much more accurate.
I really like
some
there's
cases.
a lot of pretty art.
Yes, there can be.
I like Germany.
Yeah. Okay, along with the anime versus the manga webcomic,
just
if you start watching the anime
just
first,
know that it's severely track it.
Yeah, no. Try and watch it in Japanese first if you can. That's an adorable background. And if you want a bit of seriousness, watch the Japanese version first.
I'll tell you now, they got a lot of stuff wrong in the English translation.
Well, they did, hold on, I have this whole story. The Funimation actually decided to do Hetalia as Ramshi and as just hold on. But they did it to get it as bad and as racially offensive as they could.
Which is actually really funny when you get over it.
It's hilarious.
I'll admit, I was obscenely butthurt over it whenever I first started watching. I was mad. I was mad. I hated it. But I got over it because I finally gave it a chance, and you feel bad for laughing sometimes, but you just have to kind of, But what I was going to say, okay, I got this.
I wasn't sure.
You got this, girl. Okay, what I was going to say was, in the Japanese version, in the anime they have small historical backgrounds where, say with the War of Austrian Succession episodes, they'll give a little background on it. In the Japanese, it is accurately portrayed, like whenever they give the historical background. It is accurate.
There's a really huge crowd.
Okay, this is the end.
This is the end. Do not worry.
However, whenever you get into the English translation, or I'll say American translation. That's a better way to say it. The American translation, the history is wrong. A lot of it. I mean, it's borderline.
It was made to be as racially offensive and hilarious at the same time as possible.
But I mean, even like the small historical explanations that they do are wrong. A lot of times.
What did Lovi call Germany? Hasselhoff?
Yeah, Hasselhoff.
Hey, there, Hasselhoff.
Alright, yeah.
So goodbye.
Unfortunately, we don't have
Thank you for coming,
I'm going to get a feedback thread up on the Oni-Con forums ASAP. If anybody could, please, would, should, comment and post and stuff and whatnot, and that would be fantastic. But we gotta clear out.
And I feel the need to shamelessly advertise really quickly. There is a Hetalia Ask a Nation panel tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I am the Prussia directly across the hall. She is Finland. We've got Switzerland and Poland.
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah. It's there. Be there.
See you guys.
Ayla, you want me to post this on YouTube?
No.
Oh yeah, we recorded the entire video.
I'll be in the crowd.